Good morning. Today we are going to be talking about multiplying fractions. So our I can multiply fractions. The first strategy we are going to learn for multiplying fractions is simply multiplying the numerators together and the denominators. So let's go ahead and start by multiplying the numerators and denominators. So our problem is going to be 3/7 times 1/2. So like I said, our strategy is to multiply the numerators and multiply the denominators. That means you're simply multiplying across. So I always like to rewrite it to show both numerators on top and to show both numerators or denominators on bottom. So now we are going to multiply our numerators and then multiply our denominators. So 3 times 1 is 3. 7 times 2 is 14. So now you know that 3/7 times 1/2 is 3/14. So that means you had 3/7 of something and you wanted 1/2 of it. So that would be 3/14. But you know what? We're not done there. After you have your answer, you have to check and see, can this be simplified? That's where you grab your handy dandy little cheat sheet here to look and see what the greatest common factors of 3 and 14 are. So let's go ahead, we'll list some factors. Oops, there's that spot again. Let's list some factors of 3 and 14. So if I'm listing the factors, I have 1 and 3, and that's it. Only 1 and 3 are the only factors of 3, so that means 3 is prime. So let's go ahead and do 14. 1 times 14, 2 times 7, 3 doesn't equal it. So since we already know 3 cannot be a factor of 14, we'd never use 1 because it doesn't change it. But 3 can't be a factor, we're done. There is no greatest common factor of 3 and 14. So we take out these greatest common factors, and we know our answer is still going to be 3/14. It cannot be simplified. So that was multiplying fractions using the strategy of just multiplying across and simplifying. So let's go ahead and type this out so you can see it. The first thing we had to do was rewrite the fraction. So step 1, let's make this bigger so you can actually see it. Step 1, you rewrote the fraction with both of the numerators on top and denominators on bottom. So, for example, you had 3/7 on top, and that's when we did 3 times, or 3, our numerators for this problem were 3 and 1, so we switched it right here to do 3 times 1, both on top. And the denominators were 7 times 2, and we put them both together. The second step was to multiply numerators. The numerators we multiplied were 3 times 1. Step 3 was to multiply denominators. Our denominators were 7 and 2. Finally, once we had the answer, we rewrote the fraction. Oops. We rewrote the fraction and checked to see if it could be simplified. By listing the factors and finding the GCF, greatest common factors. Okay, so step one, you rewrite the fractions with the numerators on top and the denominators on bottom all together, showing that multiplication problem. Then you multiply the numerators, then you multiply the denominators, then you rewrote the fraction and check to see if it could be simplified by listing the factors and the GCF. So let's go ahead. Here was step one. This was step one. Multiplying was step two. Step three was rewriting it as a fraction. And step four was looking for the GCF. So let's go ahead and do one more. I want you to go ahead and do this with me. So let's go ahead. Let's do one. Oops, let me go back to the pen tool. There we go. Let's do 1/5 times 1/3. So 1/5 times 1/3 using the multiplying strategy. So we're going to do 1 times 1. On the bottom, 5 times 3. So this is where we are actually going to multiply the numerators. Here's multiplying the numerators. Make that smaller. And down here, we're multiplying the denominators. That's smaller too, so it looks nice. So multiply the numerators, multiply the denominators. So now 1 times 1 is 1. 5 times 3 is 15. So we check and see, can this be simplified? But if we have a 1 on top, we already know that it cannot be simplified. So the answer is just 1/15. So there was nothing, we attempted to simplify, but there was nothing that we could simplify. So you could put simplify here. But it's already in its simplest form. Okay, so let's do a problem. Let's see. Here's another one. Ready? Let's try 3/4 times 2/3. So we're going to rewrite that. 3 times 2 over 4 times 3. Go ahead and take a second to see if you can solve that. Okay, let's see what you came up with. 3 times 2, now we multiply. 3 times 2 is, oh, there's that spot on my computer. That silly dead spot. 3 times 2 is 6. 4 times 3 is 12. So my next step would be to simplify, right? Okay, how do we simplify? By finding the GCF. So let's go ahead and list the factors of 6 and 12. Use your handy dandy cheat sheet. That's what I have it there for, your neat little cheat sheet. So we know we have 1, I gotta use my 1 and 6, 2 and 3. The bottom we go 1 and 12. We go 2 and 6 and 3 and 4. Now we have to find the greatest common factor. The greatest common factor is 6. That means we are going to take 6 twelfths and divide by that GCF. So 6 divided by 6 over 12 divided by 6. So 6 divided by 6, we know its partner is 1. So automatically the answer is 1. 12 divided by 6, these two are partners. Whoop, what's the factor pair? 6 and 2. So 12 divided by 6 is 2. Your answer is 1/2. So 3/4 times 2/3 is 1/2. You could have put 6/12. I'm not going to mark that wrong. That is correct. But I would like you to start trying to simplify, and simplifying would be 1/2. Okay, so that is multiplying fractions just by multiplying the numerators and the denominators. I'm going to give you 2 problems to work on right now. So I would like you to multiply 1/2 times 5/6. And then your second problem is going to be 3/7 times 2/3. You can do these in Jamboard. We're going to check them at the end of class. So these are the 2 problems that you are working on, and we will check at the end of class.